What is your theory for the significant increase in mental and developmental health disorders and autoimmune issues in the past 20 plus years? Oh man, I mean, I don't have a theory. That's just truth. I mean, I've experienced that hundredfold. It's like I had a nervous mental breakdown. Whatever you want to call it. Um, 3 years ago, 4 years ago now. Shit, 4 years ago. And 6 months later, found out I have Lyme disease. Chronic autoimmune disease. So, I mean, it's a real thing, and it's just happening more and more and more and more. And I do think technology has something to do with it. And the reason I say that is I go back to someone I look up to a ton on social media, Gary Vaynerchuk. He says the internet is not destroying us, but it is exposing us. And I think the internet is exposing uh, the weaknesses and hypocrisies and the hate and all the negative parts of humanity. It's highlighting the good stuff as well, but it's also bringing out the bad. And so in that, I think that because of how the world has evolved, especially with technology, a lot of things that we weren't aware that were present are becoming present. It's kind of like with meditation. You don't know that you're severely depressed or anxious or whatever until you meditate and all that stuff comes to the surface, because you're either always thinking about the future or you're thinking in the past. And then once you focus on this present moment, you're like, oh my God, there's so much stuff going on inside me that I wasn't aware of, which happens over time in meditation. And so I do think that and so I guess that's my theory. I think it has a lot to do with technology and the rise of technology and the rise of connectivity between human beings, being so accessible to everyone through technology. Because, years and years ago, I remembered, my family, none of us had cell phones, right? So when we were out, we were chill, right? It's totally fine. Now, we all have cell phones, and so it's like, hey, there's no excuse. You can't say, oh, I wasn't home, or the letter never got mailed, or whatever. There's absolutely no excuse now. Like the requirements or the responsibility that we as human beings have now to, like, it's like there's absolutely no excuses. Like, it is what it is, no excuses involved. And I think that's because of technology. And so with technology on the rise and connectivity with the world at large, and especially yourself being exposed, and this gets into the whole art of, like, the way I think about it, of acting and stuff, like a camera, right? A camera, like, on my face right now, like on an actor filming, like the slightest nuance, the slightest difference in, like, whether it be like a small smile, an eyebrow raise or whatever, can say so much. So when you're taking a picture of somebody, like, it's like there's so much being said, and so much can be judged from that, so much can be assumed from that. And so there's these problems coming out that were never ever there before because of technology. And you say 20 plus years, but also technology has been on the rise for 20 plus years. So I do think it is one of those things where technology is not destroying us. I think it's exposing us. And I honestly think that in the next 20 years, that all of this autoimmune disease stuff and all of this mental health and all this disorders, I think it's going to actually drop a lot. I think it's going to lessen, because hopefully within 20 years, our humanity really will be able to be evolved enough to where we will know how to act more human. And again, that gets back to, we have no excuses anymore. The responsibility of what it is to be human now. I mean, there's just no excuses. And that's because of technology. And so I think we'll have it a lot more figured out in 20 plus years. But yeah, I mean, I guess I didn't know I had a theory until I started talking about it. But I think technology has a lot to do with it. But it is a real thing. It is a real deal, which is crazy because not a lot of people, unfortunately, and when I say people, I mean doctors. Not a lot of doctors acknowledge, oh, this person has an autoimmune disease because of a emotional factor. It's like, oh no, let's just pump you full of antibiotics and see if you feel better. I just talked to my doctor this past week, and I asked her, "Hey, I know where I was when I came in. I was bad. Like my body was terrible." And she let me know that my immune system was junk. I mean, I was just terrible. And I was like, if I would have kept going down that road, if I would not have seen you as a doctor and you would not have helped me, what would my life be like? Would I be dead? What would be going on? And she's like, you would be disabled for your entire life. You would not be able to function. This is all, I mean, obviously some of it has to do with emotional stuff, but it's Lyme disease as well. So I mean, there's a number of things involved. So I'm not the perfect example for what I'm trying to convey and talk about. I'm just saying that doctors don't know how to handle it when it is an autoimmune disease that is caused by emotional stress. Doctors don't know how to handle it yet. Hopefully, in 20 years, like I said, I think humanity will evolve enough to where hopefully we'll start figuring this stuff out. So yeah, that's my theory. That's what I think. There you go.